Hi folks, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to another episode of I Like Big Boats and I Cannot Lie, the video series where I talk about my favorite thing, submarines. I hope you're doing well, and I hope this video can bore you to sleep. This week starts on December 7th and ends on the 13th, but of course we cannot proceed without acknowledging the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, which took place December 7th, 1941, killing 2,403 Americans and wounding 1,178. It is an undoubtedly tragic and significant event in American history, particularly that of the U.S. Navy, a day that will forever live in infamy. Only 1 year later, we would see the commissioning of the USS Steelhead, SS-280, a Gato-class diesel-electric submarine. Steelhead would complete her shakedown in January of 1943 before beginning her first of 6 war patrols. Gato-class subs were built in 1941 through 1943. Gato and Baleo classes were heavily involved in sinking Japanese merchant ships and a large portion of the Japanese Imperial Navy. USS James Monroe, SSBN 622, was commissioned on this date in 1963. James Monroe, a Lafayette-class ballistic missile sub, had been built by Newport News Shipbuilding and Drydock Company. Commanders William H. Sanford and Warren R. Cobein, Jr. commanded the Blue and Gold crews, respectively. Monroe had her shakedown cruise off Cape Kennedy, Florida, and then spent the early part of 1964 performing ballistic missile tests before departing for her first deterrent patrol in June. Her motto was, "Watchful Waiting." So the next one is USS Finback, and I'll get to it in a moment. But first I'd like to say that when I opened the Wikipedia article to check the dates, and I then discovered the first section of her history is titled Topless Dancer Incident, so we will be covering that when it comes up in July. Anyway, Finback, SSN 670, was launched on this day in 1968, presumably without any topless dancers in attendance. She was sponsored by Norma Baird, wife of Charles F. Baird, the Undersecretary of the Navy. Finback was one of the 37 Sturgeon fast attack submarines. Her motto was, "All good men." I assume the "and a topless dancer" part was implied. The keel laying ceremony for USS Arizona, SSN 803, took place in 2022 at the Quonset Point facility of General Dynamics Electric Boat in North Kingston, Rhode Island. She is the second Block 5 boat, the first to feature the Virginia payload model. Though she has not yet been christened, her sponsor is said to be Nikki Stratton, granddaughter of Donald Stratton, Seaman First Class, who served aboard Battleship Arizona and survived the attack on Pearl Harbor. Mr. Stratton passed away in February 2020 at the age of 97. On December 8th, 1944, the USS Toro, SS-422, was commissioned. She had been built by the Portsmouth Navy Yard in Kittery, Maine. Following her completion, she participated in training exercises around New England before arriving in Key West, Florida, in February of 1945. She provided services to the Fleet Sonar School before departing with the USS Bumper, bound for training in the Panama Canal. Her first war patrol began on the 10th of May. In 1953, the keel was laid for USS Sailfish, SSR 572, lead ship in her class of 2, built by Portsmouth Navy Yard. Sailfish was the first submarine built exclusively for radar picket service. She would serve in this capacity until 1961, when the radar picket mission ended. After this, she was redesignated as an SS, fast attack sub, until the end of her career in 1978. In 1979, the USS Phoenix, SSN 702, was launched by Electric Boat. She was 5th of her name, the 3rd to be named for the city in Arizona. Her sponsor was Mrs. Betty Harvey Rhodes, wife of Congressman John J. Rhodes, no relation to Dusty Rhodes. Unfortunately, Phoenix was assigned to Submarine Squadron 8, homeboarded in Norfolk, Virginia, where she stayed for 16 years. Next is USS Pittsburgh, SSN 720, built by Electric Boat, launched on this day in 1984. She was sponsored by Professor Carol Sawyer. Pittsburgh was a Los Angeles-class fast attack submarine, homeboarded in Groton. Her motto was Heart of Steel. On December 9th, we have two launchings in 1961, USS Plunger, SSN 595, and USS Tenosa, SSN 606, two Permit-class submarines. Plunger was built by Mare Island Naval Shipyard in Vallejo, sponsored by Mrs. Clinton P. Anderson, who I assume to be the Secretary of Agriculture / New Mexico Senator Clinton Prespa Anderson, which would make her Henrietta McCartney Anderson. Meanwhile, Tenosa, built by Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, was sponsored by the wife of New York Congressman Samuel S. Stratton, and her name was Joan Harris. 4 years later, we have the keel-laying of the USS Guitarro, SSN 665, the infamous Mare Island Mud Puppy. The contract to build her had been awarded to Mare Island in December of 1964. Guitarro, a Sturgeon-class sub, was the second of her name. In 1972, the USS Albacore, AG SS 569, was decommissioned. Albacore's frequent engine failures canceled her deployment in support of Project Surpass, which sped along her deactivation preparations. A dockside retirement ceremony was held at Portsmouth in September of 1972, and she was held at the Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility in the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. In May of 1980, her name was struck from the Naval Vessel Register. Later, she was placed on permanent display at Albacore Park in Market Street in Portsmouth. These videos are usually done a week in advance, but this one clearly was not, as I get to talk a bit about USS Barb, SSN 804, a Virginia-class submarine still under construction. She was built by Newport News Shipbuilding, and her keel was laid on this day, December 9th, 2025. On the 10th of December, 1918, the USS S-36, SS-141, was laid by Bethlehem Shipbuilding Corporation of San Francisco. In 1945, the USS Tamber, SS-198, lead ship of her class, was decommissioned after 6 years of service. Tamber had completed 12 war patrols and earned 11 battle stars during World War II. She was decommissioned at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard and placed in reserve. In April of 1947, she was assigned to the 9th Naval District to train reserves personnel, then transited to Detroit, where she was held until 1959. She was the first submarine to dry dock on the Great Lakes in 1953. In 1959, a Board of Inspection and Survey found her unfit for service. She was struck from the Naval Vessel Register in September, then sold for scrap. USS Kamehameha, SSBN 642, was commissioned on this date in 1965. At the time of her commissioning, Blue Crew was commanded by Commander Roth S. Liddick, and Robert W. Dickison was in command of the Gold. Her motto was Hawaiian for Go Forth and Conquer. In 1994, USS Hartford, SSN 768, was commissioned by General Dynamics Electric Boat in Groton, with Commander George Caston in charge. Hartford is in active service, homeported in New London. Her motto is, Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. To start off December 11th, we have 3 decommissionings in 1946. Let's start with SS-196, USS Sea Raven, a Sargo-class submarine built by Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Kittery, Maine. She was sunk as a target on the 11th of September, 1948, and struck from the Naval Vessel Register on the 21st of October. USS Tuna, SS-203, built by Mare Island Naval Shipyard, was retained as a radiological laboratory and underwent various radiological and structural studies while moored at Mare Island. She was sunk on 24th September 1948 off the west coast of the U.S. and struck from the Vessel Register on the 21st of October. USS Dentuta, SS-335, arrived at Mare Island in October of 1946 to train members of the Navy Reserve. She was struck from the Register in June of 1967 and sold for scrap on the 12th of February 1969. USS Connecticut, SSN-22, was commissioned on this day in 1998. Built by Electric Boat, Connecticut is the second of 3 Seawolf-class fast attack submarines. Connecticut is currently in active service, stationed at Naval Base Kitsap Bangor in Washington State. She's most recently known for crashing into a mountain and ending up stuck at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton for a repair overhaul, where she should remain until 2026 or later. Her motto is, Arsenal of the Nation. In 2014, USS Norfolk, SSN 714, a Los Angeles-class submarine, was decommissioned and stricken from the Naval Vessel Register at her home port at Naval Station Norfolk. She is in the process of being defueled and will probably eventually join her sister ships in the Ship and Submarine Recycling Program at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Her motto was Latin for Strength Through Unity. On December 12th, we have two launchings, both in 1943. USS Barbaro, SS-317, was a Baleo-class submarine built by General Dynamics Electric Boat. Her sponsor was Mrs. Catherine R. Keating. USS Hardhead, SS-365, was built by Manitowoc Shipbuilding in Wisconsin. Her sponsor was Mrs. Inez Riddle McDonald, wife of retired Lieutenant Commander Eugene F. McDonald, who is also the founder and CEO of Zenith Radio Corporation. I did not know that. I learned something today. In 1989, the USS Darter, SS-576, was decommissioned in Pearl Harbor after over 33 years of service in the U.S. Navy. She was struck from the Naval Vessel Register in January of 1990 and sunk as a target on the 7th of January 1992 by USS Tautog off Hawaii. USS Santa Fe, SSN 763, was launched in 1992 by Electric Boat. She was christened with blessed water from the Santa Fe River, a break in tradition from the typical bottle of champagne, by her sponsor, Mrs. Joy Johnson. Santa Fe is in active service, homeported at Naval Base Point Loma in San Diego, California. Last day of the week, December 13th. USS Muskellunge, SS-262, was launched on this day in 1942, sponsored by Mrs. Merritt D. Graham, widow of Chief Torpedoman Graham, who was lost aboard USS Grunion in July of 1942. She was a Gato-class diesel-electric submarine. USS Kraken, SS-370, was laid 1 year later by Manitowoc Shipbuilding of Wisconsin. USS Baltimore, SSN 704, sixth of her name, was launched on December 13, 1980. Built by Electric Boat in Groton, her sponsor was Congresswoman Marjorie S. Holt. Her motto was, "From Sails to Atoms." Currently, she awaits dismantling at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Ohio-class USS Tennessee, SSBN 734, was launched in 1986, sponsored by Mrs. Landis Kelso, wife of Admiral Frank Kelso. Tennessee remains in active service, homeported in Kings Bay, Georgia. Her motto is, America at its best. Finally, the USS New Mexico, SSN 779, a Virginia-class submarine built by Northrop Grumman, Newport News, was christened in 2008. Wife of Admiral Edmund Giambastiani, Cindy, is the boat's sponsor. Representative Heather Wilson of the 1st Congressional District of New Mexico was a keynote speaker. New Mexico is homeported in Norfolk, Virginia. Her motto is Spanish for, "We defend our land." That's all I have for this week, folks. Thanks for stopping by as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.